I am 88 years old. I was born in Krakow. My mother was from Krakow. Her name was Lola Sarah Goldstoff. My father was Eliezer Backenroth. My father was in oil business. The ale just flowed through Schrodnica. And the ale in Schrodnica in this time, with the ale, the big businesses, when it is not very, very deep. When it is not deep, it is really, it has a pressure and comes out. And when it's in this time, they didn't have all these things that they have now, and they could not go so, even if they know that the oil is very, it is clear, they couldn't take it out.
Okay. When did you leave Krakow?
When I was 2 weeks old.
Okay, and you went to Schrodnica?
And I went to Schrodnica maybe for a week, and then in Drohobych for 6 years.
Okay.
And Drohobych was near, it was Drohobych, Boleslav, Schrodnica.
And how long did you stay in Drohobych?
In Drohobych for 7 years. Schrodnica was a big village, but it was a village. And it was a village around the ale. And the Backenroth was a family that has they were only in oil business, and they were people very, should I say, very, they didn't go to school, but they have plenty of money.
Yes.
The money just flowed. It was a Fräulein from Germany, and the Fräulein gives the culture to your children. We went, my mother, father, and I and my little brother, to Krakow. When we came to Krakow, my father was all the time very sick. He has diabetes. And the money that we have for it was sending to us from Schrodnica. It was not many ale in this time. In the ale business, once you got a good place, you are a multi-millionaire in one day. And in this good place, you don't know exactly how good or how bad it is. And then after some year, you don't have more. You can be very bad, in very bad condition. It is very not stable. You don't know exactly, and the people that live from ale are not stable people. It is something you are not working. You have plenty of money. After 2 or 3 or after a year, you don't have nothing. When I came to Krakow first, I was a girl. I was 7 years in Drohobych, and then 7 years I was, when I came to Krakow, I was maybe 12 years old. My father died.
When you were 35?
Yeah, he was 35 years old when he died. And then my mother and I and my little brother didn't have enough. They sent us money from Schrodnica, but it was hard. We didn't have enough money. But we somehow managed, and we stayed in Krakow. And then came the war. And the war came, it was terrible, but we still stay in Krakow. But then it was so bad we couldn't stay in Krakow. In Krakow, everybody knew that we are Jews. And the brother was a Jew, so we couldn't stay anymore. And we took down the
armband.
Yeah, and we went to Gorlice.
Galicia.
And the reason that my mother had in Gorlice a friend, not Jewish. She took us in. Was very, very beautiful for us. The German could just, when some Christian took Jews, he and all his family was killed, not only the Jew. So everybody was very scared of a Jew. And we couldn't stay much time. And then my mother took the decision that I and my little brother, we will go. It was a little place, not a little town, and the name was Sanok. And near the Sanok, through the Sanok, went a river, and the name was San. And through this San, when the Second War started, the Russian and the German told between themselves that the Russian will come to the Sun from one side and the German from the second side, and Poland will not be anymore. So my mother was thinking that it will be better if we can somehow cross, that many people are speaking about that in Sanok is one place that you can cross. The sun is not so high, and when it is not raining, even a child like my brother not very could go through. And then every night, somehow the German will not look exactly what, and through the sun you can go to Russia. But when we came, it was raining for many days, and the sun was very high, and we couldn't go through, and we couldn't go back. We couldn't have a place to go back, and we didn't have even, and I didn't know what to do. And I started to go back. I don't know, just go for 5 hours. It was a sperre. Nobody should be on the street. Somebody on the street, and they put you dead in 1 minute, without fragen any. I started to go. I saw 3 German. 2 were young, and the third was heavy. I just went directly to them. I came to them, and I looked on the heavy one that was older, much older than these 2, and the young, and somehow like an officer, but I couldn't see. It was raining, and I came to him, and I told him like he was my father. Started to speak to him, and told him I am Jewish, and my brother is Jewish, and he wanted to cross the river. It's impossible to cross the river. I don't know what to do now. And at this moment, this man looking at me and told me, don't cry, just go back where you were the night before and wait until it will go down and close the river. This man, this German, make my life possible. And never, when I spoke about Holocaust, and here and there people are speaking, I never was able to speak, to tell that my life gave me a German. One of the reasons that you are now here is that I told myself, to this man I will tell that one good German let me live. He was ready, his life to change for mine. One day was better, and the next day we crossed the river. We were crossing from Germany to Russia, and they took us all together, the Polish and us. We were all together in one, we were all together in the water. They took us all together and they put us to a Libizor.
Prison.
In a prison. And they started to push us in Russia. We didn't know that some days after us, Hitler had the big idea to cross the same river. And he was pushing on Russia. And the Russian was pushing us. Didn't know who is it, who is not. All together, the Polish people and the Jewish people and the children and everybody together. They were pushing. They let us in a plane for 2 months. They put us in a train and we go for a day, and they let us in a place, and nobody came, and nobody gave us water, and nobody gave us nothing. And we didn't know what happened.
And you were all Jewish people in this?
No. Whoever was in prison.
Okay.
Jewish people and not Jewish people, and good people and bad people, whoever was in prison, all the prison. And I never saw my brother again. And after, I don't remember how many, I started to have some kind, they call it zinger, when you don't have vitamin C and that.
Yes.
And you open, and if you are young, you are much more, you will get much more of this. Just without nothing, I got some, and איך אומרים? שמוגלה התחילה לצאת.
אני חושבת שהם מבינים.
מה?
הם מבינים.
And from this came out white, green, something. It was terribly. And my fever was coming up. Nobody took me out, but I saw that, and איך אומרים, Läuse, die kleine, Läuse. Ja. Plenty. Sofort. And they came inside. And if they came inside, more of this came out. And it came out, and all these schmotters that I have started to stick. It was something terrible. And I was unable to move, and like this I went, I don't know how long. And then we came to a place, and this train just stopped and said, everybody out. I went out too. And it was very, very deep in Vorkuta. Vorkuta, it is a huge piece from Russia, very, very hard to live there. And when I came, not looking anymore like a girl, like a monster, it was in Vorkuta a doctor. Doctor medicine. And when I came, she started to cry. And she told, I had a daughter. And she is now probably this age. And maybe she looks like her. So I will do everything to help her. And she took, but she couldn't do much. She took something like this and put nice hot water, and she laid me to soak in this water. And when I was soaking in the water, all these lice went a little away, and all these smarters got away, and she take everything out, and she put me in a clean bed, and she gave me to eat onions, onions not cooked. So it is, all this is from, I didn't have enough vitamins. And when I ate raw onions and raw fish, not raw fish, but the fish was, I was eating the raw fish and I was eating the onion, and I was better from day to day, from day to day. And after maybe a month, maybe two, I was good. We got a message for all the Polish people. Became amnesty. Amnesty for all the Polish people, even if they were Jewish. And so all the Polish people, one day, they told us, "You are free." And they gave us 250 rubles. And for 250 rubles, you could buy one bread, one whole bread. So they let me go in Vorkuta after I was sick. They let me go with one bread and with 250 rubles that could go to one day more. And I started to go with train. You can go with a train without paying, everybody. It was not a regular train for people, it was a train without nothing. And I started to go down. In one point, I came to Tehran. And in Tehran, they started to cross that other people. They come to Tehran. Sasha, were many children, and these children, the little one was maybe 2 years old, and the mother maybe was already dead, and the father was dead, and the child was going by himself to Tehran. And in Tehran, they started to build. They started to take the Jewish children and separate them from other children. It was very hard to know who was Jewish, who was not Jewish. But they do the best. A child, a boy, when he was 6 or 7 years old, before his mother died, she will tell her 6-year-old boy, whatever happens, never let nobody to see you make pee-pee. Never let nobody see. So he will not let. But the Jewish people, when they started to take the Jews out, he must have her for the girl, they have her for the boy. And the boys didn't want to show him. And when he was trying, the boy wanted not to show. So they came by night. And by night there was treatment. Would you like chocolate? And the boy was very, he never ate it. So he gave him chocolate. And the second night he came, would you show me your pee-pee? No? Will you show me only for 1 minute? No. He took like this and opened his mouth, close. And the boy took him in a place from Israel. It was not Israel, it was only a little Yeshua. They heard that in Tehran, children are going by themselves, and nobody know who they are, how they are. And they were sending from Israel their now prominent people to organize Jewish Aliyah from the children. When our transport from Tehran came, we came to Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
No, we wanted to come to Eretz Israel, but England, the soldier from England, doesn't let us. So these 900 children, we didn't have a certificate to come. So they sent us back through a full with mines. This was the year 43. And they sent the transport with 900 children back. And we went to Karachi, Karachi in Pakistan.
After Karachi, you had a second
After
opportunity.
Karachi, they started to make in Israel, not this Israel, but Palestine, a big noise, the Jewish people. We have 900 children in Karachi. And they got us papers, and again we were coming. Again we were going through the mines. We were, it was something terrible. And I came to Haifa.